So a little bit of rocking your knees towards, if your knees are pointing straight up to 12 o'clock, then from 11 to 1, a little bit, or maybe you prefer making some circles with your knees with your hands guiding your knees in a circular way. I'll join you here. And then when you've done that for a few moments, gently bring those feet back down to the mat surface. Knees are still bent, and walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat. Just take your hands either to the mat or out to the sides, nice and easy. And we'll just rock our knees to the right all the way, and then up to center and to the left. So we call this windshield wipering our knees. And then up to the center, and then just back and forth at your own pace. Just kind of finding any spots you might want to investigate. Stay there for a moment or two. Yeah. When you're done, go ahead and keep those knees bent and put your heels in line with your hips, toes pointed away from you. And take both arms overhead. So you're making the number 11 with your arms up over your head. Perfect. And wiggle your wrists away from the top of your head. My knees are bent and my feet are planted on the mat surface. Now, just the right arm is it's like a half snow angel. You're gonna bring it out to the right side, just above the floor, all the way down till you're sort of hugging your right thigh with your right hand, and stretch your left arm overhead and to the right side. So we're taking like a little side stretch here. Left arm stretching over to the right hand grounded on the right leg. And just take a deep breath there into your left rib cage. Then gently bring that right arm back overhead again, number 11 arms. And we'll take the left arm out to the side, down towards the hip, ground your hand on your left leg, and reach that right arm overhead to the left, making this half moon, crescent moon shape, stretching the right side of your rib cage. Then bring that left arm back overhead again, number 11 arms, palms facing the ceiling. We're going to bend each elbow 90 degrees. So we have what we call cactus or bird wing arms here. Yes, we do. And then hug that left elbow into the right side of your chest. Use your right hand to give it a little squeeze in. So just the left elbow crosses over, your right hand squeezes down. And then the left elbow springs back out to the left side again. Now the right elbow crosses across your chest. Left hand gives it a little hug in, just to stretch your shoulder blade, top of your shoulder. Yeah. And then both elbows out to the side again. With your elbows, now right now my elbows are about even with my rib cage. I'm going to bring my elbows downward in a direction towards my waistband. So I'm trying to pinch those elbows in towards the bottom rib cage or towards my waistband. Feel that stretch in the top of your shoulders. And then let's shake those hands out to the side of the shoulders again and back overhead. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, snow angel both arms back down to the sides of the mat and stretch your legs long. Good. Press your heels away, pull your belly button down. Imagine yourself if you were standing on the floor in mountain pose, you'd be really grounding into the soles of your feet. And one time only, we're going to raise both arms overhead towards the ceiling and back overhead near the floor behind us, right? The palms facing upward. And then same thing, raise those arms up over your shoulders, over your chest, and lower them back down to the sides of the mat. Keep the left leg grounded, bend the right knee, float your right foot and knee, and use those hands to hug your knee in towards your right rib cage. Yeah, so the left leg is resting on the floor. The right knee is bent. You're using your hands to hug it in. Maybe give it a nice hug and hold it in. Point and flex your right, excuse me, your right foot. And then circle your ankle. Excuse me, it's allergy season, isn't it? Yeah. So much ragweed here. Not right here at Cancer Wellness Center, just in our air that we're breathing. Perfect. And then hold for a second and take your right hand is going to guide your right knee over to the right side. Left hand on your left hip crest. So that bony protuberance on the top of your front of your left hip, press down there and let your right knee sort of wing out to the side. You can use your right hand to guide it, gently open up that hip. Maybe take a look to the left, towards the left side of your space. Take a breath in and out. Whatever you're feeling is good for you. And then use your right hand to press that knee upward and change hands. So left hand has the right knee and the right hand can just go out to the right side as you gently guide that right knee to the left across your body. Now, this is not a full twist. No, no, no. You're just lifting the back of your right hip off the floor. You can use that left hand, can bring it to the outer part of your right knee and press down. Just feel what's going on in that IT band and outer hip. Take a breath. Then let that knee float up to center. Use both your hands now and go behind your hamstring as you kick that right foot up to the sky. Try to straighten your right knee as much as possible. And gently pulse that leg towards your face. So like you're kicking a balloon over your head. Just kick, kick, kick. Then eventually, when that kick is up and high, you just bend those elbows and hug that knee. Take a nice hamstring stretch there. Draw the belly button down to firm the back of the sacrum into the mat. And then keep your leg overhead, but reach both arms up towards your toes. So wiggle your fingers towards your toes. Yeah. And then just like we did before, you're going to lower your arms back behind you overhead towards the floor, keeping that leg up towards the sky. And then both arms are going to raise back up again until they're reaching towards your toes. Draw the belly button down, and this is for you to challenge yourself to lower your hands to the mat and your heel to the mat at the exact same time. So it's very slow. Keep pushing out through your heel. Keep drawing your belly button down. Hopefully, just like an astronaut space capsule landing, everything touches down at the same time. Take a deep breath in, exhale out, keep the right leg straight and long on the mat, bend the left knee, hug it into your left rib cage. Pulse, pulse, pulse. So thankful that my hips are working every morning when I do this. And then hug that knee in as close as you can, point and flex the left foot, point flex, and draw some circles to the right and left. Pause. Now the left hand is going to stay on the left knee. Right hand goes to your right hip crest, pressing down into that protuberance of bone on the front of your right hip. Lower the left hip out towards the floor on the left side of your guide it. You can even press down a little bit if you're feeling like that would feel good today on the inner left. And then let's guide that left knee up to center where we'll take over with the right hand and take the left arm out to the left side. And then gently with your right hand, guide your left knee over to the right, lifting a little air underneath your left hip. And then if it's a curiosity to you, take your right hand to your outer right knee and just press down. Just press down. Take a breath or two. Then let's float that knee up to center again. Both hands grab for the hamstring behind the left thigh as you straighten the left foot up towards the sky, the left knee straightening. Yeah. Let's pulse with our elbows and hands, pulling that leg in a little closer to our torso. Eventually, when it comes in close, let's hold it there for a couple of breaths, drawing the belly button downward. Keep the belly button pulled down. The hands are going to reach up towards your outer ankle or toe. Reach. Longer arms, longer arms. Then lower your arms back overhead, number 11 arms behind you. Then raise your arms up towards the outsides of your ankle or foot. And then make a deal with yourself. Your hands and your heel are going to land on the mat at the exact same time, taking it downward. Yeah. 3, 2, and beautiful. Take both knees into your chest, hug close, and find a happy baby shape by reaching between the legs, and then either grabbing your shin bones or the tops of your ankles, or reaching underneath for your calf muscles or your heels. And then to the extent that it's possible, kick those heels up towards the ceiling and rock a little from left to right and right to left. So after you've massaged your back doing this rock, I'm going to ask you to use your own yogi way to roll onto one side or rock up to seated. Either way, so roll to one side and push up to seated, or just rock up to seated. Yeah. core, and then take some softness underneath your bum. So fold up a blanket, or if you have a bolster or a pillow, just want a little bit of a softness under our hips to keep going today. And then legs straight or legs crossed, whatever works better for you. I'll say this again, I say it almost every class now because I do always have some people that are holding on for dear life so they don't flop backwards, right? And what I will say to you is just a godsend to put another blanket under your hips. Because as soon as you elevate those hips, it's easier on your knees and your hips to sit up straight. So let's just go ahead and flutter our eyes closed. This just does a little bit of a mindfulness drill this morning. Take a couple deep breaths as you find your shape. Inhaling and exhaling. Notice your belly wall softening out to the front space of you. With your next inhale, feel your ribcage expanding, and then your exhale, the ribcage back. Continue breathing in and out as you reach up a little higher towards the ceiling at the top of your head. My eyes are closed. Let the tops of your shoulders drop down away from your earlobes, almost like my hands were on your shoulders and I was pressing your shoulder tops down towards the floor. Feel the heaviness of your hips sinking into the mat or the blanket. Just becoming a little bit taller. Then we're just going to do a few rounds of Samavritti breathing, which is the time of our inhale equals the time of our exhale. So on this next breath, exhale everything out that you have in your lungs. And then to the count of 3, let's inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. We're going to lengthen the exhale next time. So inhale 1, 2, 3, and pause. And now for 5 counts, slowly exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time, inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Keep your eyes closed and just go back to your normal breath for a few cycles. Just settle. Then just gently blink your eyes open and take your press down into your 10 fingertips. Press down, lift the crown of your head up. It's like the skin on the top of your arm is stretching longer. Press down, lift your head up. And then, like a hovercraft, that right hand is going to lift up, reach overhead, and just take a side stretch over towards the left side of your rib. And you're going to take 2 deep breaths into your right side rib cage. You feel that rib cage expanding to the side as you breathe in and out. And then bring that right arm straight up overhead, bend the elbow 90 degrees and hug it across again, just like we did on our back. Give it over. Now reach up to your hips, rise up to your crown. You're going to take a gentle rotate to the left. So we're going to just gently, inhaling and exhaling, you're turning gently. And then when you get to a place where you stop twisting, sit there for a moment. Take another deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. And then see if there's a little bit more to twist for you today. So just see if by pausing there for a moment, you get a little bit more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Forward. Release that arms down, shoulder circles up, back, down, and forward. Resetting. Getting ready for that left arm. Okay, so all 10 fingers down, press down into your fingertips, lift up through your crown this time. The left hand's going to float. It's going to reach up. And we're going to go over to the right. Once you stretch that left side body, breathe into it. So inhale one, exhale, inhale two, exhale, coming up, reaching for the ceiling, inhale, exhale, bend your left elbow and bring it across and give it a hug. Next time. Perfect. Exhale, gently on your inhale and exhale, start twisting to your right, seeing what your body has to offer here. I like to twist on the exhale and lengthen up. Then when you get to that place where you stop turning, take 2 deep breaths. And see if on your next exhale you can turn. Usually there's a little bit more here. And then gently turn back to face forward. Release your arms and let's take a couple more shoulder circles. We'll kick those heels out in front for Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. There's a diamond of empty space here. Just slide your hands down to your lower legs and move further forward. Keeping that pretend underneath our chin. Let's hinge forward till we stop. Moving forward. This is where you find, oh, this is where I stop, right? And here, we'll pull the belly button back and reach the crown of our head forward and upward, stretching our spine. And see if there's any more, even with that lifted chin, there might be a little bit forward. Yeah, let the back of the neck stretch. Yeah, inhaling and exhaling. And then gently come up like a baby giraffe coming up, right? And we're going to separate the heels, but keep the knees bent. It's a version of dragonfly pose, I like to call it. And it can be fun to use a block here just to raise the floor. So you don't have to. You can just walk. We're going to forward fold and get into the inner and outer hips. But with the floor raised up, I might be able to get to a little bit more forward fold. So just go ahead and, again, chin raised, start hinging forward. And again, I'd like to stress spinal length here. So turn your belly button backward, really anchoring your hips into your floor, and reach the crown of your head forward and upward off your shoulders, like you're trying to touch the top of the wall you're facing. And just let that pretend peach stay underneath your chin. If you're using a block, your hands are a little higher. You could switch to a lower level if there's more forward folding. Use your inhale and your exhale like we did on the twist. So inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, in forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, reach your crown forward. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's all gently press down into our hands. We're going to close out the seated sequence. Bring our legs in, swing them around to the side, find hands, knees, and then child's pose. So this is when I take my padding under my knees for my very sensitive knees. So onward. Once you're on your knees, widen them to the outer edges of your mat or your blanket and hips shift back towards your toes, which are touching one another back there. Down to forearms first. See how that goes? That feels okay. You can lower your head to the mat or slide a block under your forehead. Just please do not have your head hanging in space. Really like in my classes to have people have some grounding under their forehead. So if your forehead is not touching the mat or it's a strain on your hips to get it there, please tuck a book or a blanket or a block under there and then soften. And today we can either take your hands back towards your ankles and feet or you can walk them forward. Just getting a little bit like those number 11 arms we did when we were on our backs in our opening segment. Soften your belly wall down towards the floor. Shift your tailbone back a little bit towards your toes. Make sure those shoulder blades aren't punched up towards your jawline and your earlobes. Gently press them down, like my hands were on your shoulder tops and pressing them away from your head down towards your toes. Take a couple more breaths. One more inhale. Last exhale here. And then walk your hands under your shoulders wherever they might have been. Press down to lift up. And then let's bring our knees under our hips. For tabletop, where once we're here on hands and knees, head shifts forward, tailbone pulls back to lengthen that spine. And our belly button firms gently upward into our low belly, so we feel a little bit of control there. Flat back inhale, Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, cat. Flattening your back, inhale, belly button drops, go forward, throw the tailbone up there here. And exhale back up to cat. And just go back and forth a few times. You can take a delicious investigation of this undulation of your spine. Smaller little cat. Take just two more. And then we'll pause with the flat back. And like I always like to throw in a puppy pose, a quarter dog, just to show us that another version of down dog is possible. So hips stay right here above the knee, but the arms stretch forward, the shoulders stretch forward. Head does not ground itself here. You want your upper chest, collarbone area, sternum right in the middle to feel like that's where you could land on the mat if you could. And then if your head does touch it, that's fine too, or land on a block. Keep lifting your hips, your sitting bones high up towards the ceiling. One more breath in and out. And then let's walk our hands back, not quite under the shoulders. Curl the toes under and just shift your hips back and stretch the roots of your toes. Touch the back. You can stay here with your hands way out in front, or if there's some investigation, bringing you back up a little closer. Anywhere the hands coming closer to the knees or your thighs. Again, this is called toe break pose. But it's so good for our feet. So good for our feet. I mean, when your feet get stiff and stuff, then your walking changes, then your balance. So we really need to keep our feet flexible. So just a breath or two here. And then from here, walk your hands forward again. Keep those toes curled under. And if you're able, come up to downward facing dog. So here we go. Investigate straightening your knees and bending your knees, and then alternate straightening and bending your knees. You can always come back down to your knees and just stretch one leg back at a time, alternating legs with one knee down. That's a version of puppy pose, right? Or even in tabletop. And then rocking up to your toes and down to your heels. Yeah, and then eventually, if possible, just pressing both knees as straight as you can get them. Pressing both heels down towards the mat. Maybe firming your quadriceps on the front of your upper thighs, feeling those quads engage and pressing to your femur bones. We'll take one more breath and then lift your heels and come back down to your knees. So we're going to move into a prone sequence now, and I think we'll start with space. So let's go ahead and walk ourselves onto our tummies. And we're going to get to forearm plank and Sphinx today, just so you know. And if there's another version of plank that you like to practice, you go right ahead. So my elbows are under my shoulder tops and armpits. My fingers are spread wide, pressing down into the floor or the mat. Press down with your lower arms and lift your shoulders up off your elbows. Yeah. And then pull your shoulder blades back. Now locate the center of your collarbone area where your sternum is below that, and pull your sternum back. So we talked about sucking your heart into your body so that it feels like it's going to pop out between your shoulder blades. But I don't want you to press forward in your collarbone. I want you to pull the collarbone and the heart back. And if you haven't put your belly button away from the floor yet, can you do that? Just take a breath or two here. And then we're going to dynamically soften and bring our chest down towards the mat. And then actively press down into the elbows, forearms, and wrists and pull back. And then soften down. Press down in the lower arms and just do that a couple times on your own. Not quite yin. Not quite yang. Perfect. And pull back. So now here we have an opportunity to kind of manufacture a forearm plank. So I'm gonna inch my knee forward a little bit, curl my toes under, and really important here, pull the collarbone back, up out the shoulder blades, pull the belly button in, and see if you can lift your lower body up off the mat. If you cannot, don't worry about it. Come back down into Sphinx, press down to lift up, and come back down. Keep the toes curled under. Maybe you can lift and lower a few times here. And maybe you can't. You just do what you want to do today. If you can come up and hold for a couple of breaths, just give yourself a challenge. You don't have to. Feel the pressing down through the arms, the toes, lifting up through the shoulder blades. And then let's come down. It's hard work, isn't it? That's really hard work, but it's a safe way to get into play. And it's a safe way to challenge your shoulders and get stronger without destabilizing the shoulder. So let's reach the right arm out perpendicular to the mat. It's called the Kiev shoulder. So all we do, the left hand comes back under the rib cage. You're going to turn your head to the left and roll onto the right rib cage, right hip. So that right arm is extended out there. If you need a blanket under your head, go ahead. Yeah. If you want to, stay with stacked legs or float your left foot up a little bit higher off your right leg. Keep the leg straight, that floating left leg, and press the left heel back towards the wall behind you. And then if you can locate the sensation in the front of your left hip, where your hip flexor hip crease is, press forward there and press the left heel backward, getting a nice stretch. Take a breath more. And then bring those legs to stack again and roll onto your tummy. Just breathe into the front of your right shoulder. That's a lot on the right shoulder, isn't it? So we have to manufacture the shape, extending the left arm out. You're turning your head to the right, away. Roll onto your left rib cage, left hip, stack your leg. This right hand, the one that's out in front of you, it's just kind of for balance. If you need a blanket, a blanket under your head or a block, if your head is way up off the floor, then you can float to the top right leg, keep the knees straight, press the whole foot behind you, and then locate the sensation from your right hip crease and press it forward towards the right side of your mat. Getting a nice quad stretch there, hip flexor, psoas. Then drift that leg over the left leg, and down, come back onto your tummy. Here we are, back on our tummy. So for now, we're going to do our last part opener, back bender, which is locust pose. Reach each foot and reach that foot a little further towards the back short edge of your mat. Stretch your arms alongside your body. Forehead is down. Okay. I want you to pull your heart up off the floor like it's going to float up towards your shoulder blades. And then just start to float your upper chest there and your upper back. Just by pulling your sternum back, you can get a little activation there. Good. And come back down again. Take a resting breath. Let's do that again. Pull the heart back, pull the collarbone back, lift, and see if you'd like to float your hand. Maybe today we can turn the palms down and bring our arms forward. And bring the arms backward, turn the palms upward, and we'll all come down to the floor and rest. Inhaling and exhaling. One more version of locust. You can either do what we just did, or you can interlace your hands behind your bum. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards one another. It's like you picked up two sides of the mirror on your left and right side back, and you're going to fold them in so they can look at each other. So the shoulder blades are kind of looking at each other. There it is. Press into the tops of your feet. Pull your heart back. Inhale, lift a little bit. Maybe straighten your elbows and reach back with your arms. Option to lift your toes. And we'll take a couple breaths and come down whenever you want. So inhale here. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. You ready? One time. Inhale. We're all coming down. Stack your hands. Bring your forehead to your forearms. Turn your toes out towards the far corners of the mat. Roll the heels inward and downward. Breathe steadily here, inhaling and exhaling. And then switch your feet. So toes in, heels out. Just get a nice stretch of the outer ankles here. Try to relax your gluteus muscles here. One more breath. Then straighten your toes out towards the back of the mat. Slide your hands under your shoulders. This is that big heave-ho to get us off of our chest off the floor. So press down, pull back with your shoulders and belly button. Reach the tailbone back, nice stretch. And then onto hands and knees, and then camel pose. We're kneeling with our head right over our knees, nice and straight. How are we doing out there in Zoom land? I hope all right. How are we doing here? We doing okay? All right, good. All right, so we're gonna bring the arms overhead here. Reach up, maybe touch the fingers together and look up at your fingertips, making the flame of our candle. Only the right hand is going to come down to the right side thigh, and then the left arm is going to reach over, just like we did on our back and when we received. Then we'll come back up with number 11 arms, or maybe touch the fingertips. Now just the left arm is going to come to the left side, and you're going to stretch over here. Ooh, that feels good. Then inhale, both arms overhead. Turn your palms forward. Here's where we get the 90-degree bend here. We're going to pull back a little bit. And if anybody would rather be seated instead of kneeling, that's perfectly fine. And then we're going to reach forward, and guess what? We're going to shift our weight onto our left knee so we can step the right foot forward. And if there's any other way you want to get that right foot forward, you're just going to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to make sure that I have my blocks handy when I come up now to kneeling lunge, Anjana Asana. If you're feeling a little wobbly, that's natural, right? So we need to activate the muscles that will stabilize us in this kind of awkward pose. So squeeze your inner thighs together. Feel those inner thighs scissoring together. You might be able to feel your side hips squeezing together. Yeah. Let's roll the shoulders back and take your hands behind your back. You can either stack them on your sacrum or interlace your fingers. Now, as we hinge forward, keep your chin lifted, reach your head towards the front of your space. You're practicing. Bring your right rib cage inside your right thigh. Drive your right knee forward, with your head forward, and you locate your tailbone and pull it back to lengthen your spine. Sort of interesting, isn't it, when you do it that way? Take one more breath. Now keep hinged forward, but bring your hands underneath your shoulders, inside your front foot, inside your front foot. So I'm going to take one of my blocks here, any level, put my left hand on it, put my right hand on my right waist, and start to do this kneeling rotational turn. Some of you might want to curl your back toes under, lift that back knee. Others of you might want to lift your right arm up to the sky. Take the twist. It's optional to lift your arm. And then if you did lift your knee, could you bring it back down again? And we're going to leave, the left hand's going to float up off the floor. We're going to come up to this kneeling twist with left down. Yes, squeeze your inner thighs together, squeeze your hips together. Perfect. Option to stay here or do any kind of rotational twist you like. It's a prayer twist. So this is where I am cueing you to go. But if you say, like, I don't do prayer twist for you, that's okay. Let me show you something else to do while my friends stay in prayer twist. And just bring your hands to your heart and take this head over hips rotational twist, practicing balance, gently twisting your spine without disparity of the grip. Let's take a couple more breaths. Head moves forward, tailbone pulls back. Same cue as in that forward fold. Then let's go ahead and turn to face forward. My blocks are on the mat. My right foot, Roy, you're gonna like this. We're gonna stick it out to the side. So if my left knee is at the center of my school class, my right foot's at the number 3, leaving the blocks behind, come up to kneeling and reach your arms overhead. We're gonna take just a swinging gate pose today. So over we go to the right. And over we go to the left. We come back up, number 11, arms overhead. They're going to come right down in front of us, and those blocks are going to walk under our chest a little bit. Right toes facing forward, tailbone and belly button pressing the hips back, really addressing the inner seam, the inseam. Buy a pair of pants. Sometimes they want to know what the inseam is. That's something with that ankle to the inner groin, just pressing that tailbone back. Getting it nice and easy. Take a couple more breaths for me. This is a really great one for me. This transformed a lot of my hip practice. So when I first started doing this, it really gets into the SI joint individually on each side. So one more deep breath, my friends. Yeah. And then I can leave my blocks out to the front, hands underneath my shoulders, swinging that leg back, and let's float it up and just do 3 bird dogs need to know. So I've floated the right leg behind me with a flex foot. We're just gonna come underneath, slow motion, knee towards your nose, towards your right ribs, back again. Yeah, remember when your head shoots forward, your tailbone goes back. Spine. Perfect. And then right knee comes down in tabletop, a version of child's pose, just for 3 or 4 breaths to allow like the whiteboard to get erased here. Just take a few deep breaths into whatever sensation your body's giving you. It's like an interlude. And then we'll work our way back onto hands and knees and back up to pose so we can do those shapes on the left side. So I'm gonna get a little more petting side. It's not my usual mat that I choose here, and I know why now. So up we come to kneeling again. Perfect. Okay. Just very gently bring those arms overhead, drop the shoulders down. And then from here, let's form camel today. So camel, take your right hand, bring it down, and place it with fingertips down, the heel of your palm on your right hip glute, pressing downward, not forward to start. And then let's take the left hand and do so we've got this. And your hands are drawing the skin on the back of your upper rear hips down towards the back of your knees. Just kind of feeling or unzipping you open on the front of your chest. You can tilt your chin upward. If you feel like it, squeeze the tips of your elbows together and then press forward in your hands. So you're pressing your pelvis forward. Your hip creases are opening a little bit. Chin is tilting up. And continue to lean backward, or you can stay right where you are and take a breath in and out. Do that one more time. Gently, quick push it with your hands. Just straighten up. We're going to step the left foot forward. So move your weight onto your right knee. Step that left foot forward. Find steadiness here. Roll the shoulders back. Interlace the hands behind your back or stack them on your sacral. And then hinge forward inside that left inner thigh. Remember, shoot your head forward, pull your tailbone back. It's like somebody has a hold of each end of your spine and they're just pulling, right? Like stretching you longer. Good. Then release both hands. Maybe there's a block here inside your left foot. Now, the right hand is going to go on the block or the floor. Left hand to left waistband. It's just a rotational twist to the left. And if you want to curl the back right toes under into runner's twist, I'm getting a little glimmer of the white swans right now. They're on the bank by our pond. Fun, they're not usually there. If you did lift that back knee, can you put it back down again? And then we're going to float up into this rotational twist, right? Just like we did on the other side. And from here, hands together in front of the heart. Maybe there's a prayer twist for you. Maybe you preferred the option I gave you on the first side. If this hands at the heart or burgling arm, head staying over tailbone, just gently rotating left and right, or just staying in your lunge. Whatever will serve your practice best today. We'll take a couple more breaths here in this twist. Then gently turn to face forward, and with your hands inside your front foot, pick up that left leg. If your right knee is at the center of your schoolhouse clock, your head is pointing to 12, your left foot's going to be at the number 9. And the toes are pointing straight forward. Okay, let's come up first to swinging gait. So we'll lift up the tallest version of your yogi self. And then just a little swinging gait to the left. Come back up to center and to the right. Come back up to center. I'm going to scrape my palms down that imaginary wall. Find my blocks. Shift your hips and pelvis back towards the direction your right toes are facing. Walk your hands under your tummy. And if you've got something like blocks, you can, the floor is still 6 inches away from me, but I've got these blocks, and I can just bring my elbows down to them. Just a few breaths here, and again, sort of empowering your belly button and your tailbone to gently pull back. Literally pull back the belly, the navel, and the tailbone. Yeah. See where that, when you do that, what happens? What do you feel differently, if anything? Focus that right there. We'd all be different people when we walked out of this room. Fortunately, we don't have time for that today, but I think the idea, right? Several breaths, slow breaths. So we're going to press down to lift up here. And then the blocks, you'll release the blocks, hands on the shoulders, keep walking those toes back, and then float the left leg above the mat for this leg, bird dog. So it's just 3 times, but head forward, tailbone and heel pressing back, knee towards your left shoulder, and going slowly and mindfully. Good. And then bring that down and let's just draw a few circles to the right with our hips and shoulders and to the left. And then we'll find a way to come up to standing. For you, it may be just coming up to standing. For others, it could be down dog, up to standing, by walking forward towards the front of the mat. If you're forward folding, let's do a monkey pose to come up. So hands to shins, inhale, exhale, fold to your toes. Slowly inhale, pressing into your feet. Inhale up to standing with overhead. And exhale your arms to your side into your mountain pose. Perfect. Take a couple breaths. Here we are. Here we are. And you're welcome to stay seated for this part too. And I'll give you some suggestions if you'd like to stay seated. So here we are. Well, this is my microphone here. I feel like a robot here today. But okay. So finding your mountain. Let's root down into our feet and rise up through the crown. So just like mountains are just not sitting on the surface of the earth, the roots of the mountains are rock formations that go down to the center of the earth. That's what I try to visualize my feet pressing down below the floor surface, really rooting their energy downward and then lifting the crown of my head like the crest, the tip top of a mountain with snow on top. Up, 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 up. From here, start to lift your right foot and then your left. You can widen your feet a little bit if you care to. We're going to do a short standing splits. Yeah. And then let's go ahead and see if when we can lift that right foot, see if you can find if you can hold it out a little bit. No, if you anything that's fun for you. So bringing it up, lowering it down, taking it out. You can do that seated in a chair. Just lift that right knee and hold it. Maybe you want to take it straight, bend it, take it straight, bend it. Maybe we'll turn it out and maybe we'll step long. So here we go, warrior 2 with the right leg, the one we just lifted. Left heel swivels away slightly. Arms are going out parallel to the floor, unless your arms are kaput for the day, in which case you can just bring them to your heart or grab your waist. And we'll look out over that front hand, bending, bending, bending. You're right. Taking a couple breaths, squeezing the energy of our inner thighs together to firm the foundation of our foot. Let's add a little dynamic motion, movement to this. So we'll tilt back, keeping that knee bent on the front side. And then, like a windmill, we'll come through center and we'll tilt forward without touching it. We'll do that another time. So we'll come through center, we'll tilt back. Your head is moving, your lower body is not. Come through center and tilt forward. Come through center, tilt back, stay there for a moment and straighten that front right knee. This triangle's coming up. And then we'll come through center and pause in the center. And this is where we move our head forward and we reach our front hand forward. And then we just stack our arms. If you've got any issues with your overhead arm, just grab your waistband or your hip. We'll try not to drop our ear towards our shoulder underneath us. No, we'll lift the ear and we'll reach the crown of our head out in the direction that those right toes are pointing. Yeah. And then pull your tailbone away from the crown of your head. Just find some length there. We can do that all day. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Perfect. Inhale, come back up. Turn your toes to face center. And then let's walk in just a little bit. Find stillness, find balance. And then just start. Nice and it's good to have a focal point that's not moving, so don't use your instructor or a fellow student. Just find something stationary you can look at. And then the next time your left foot comes up, just give it a chance, balance. Sometimes it's easier not on balance, right? And then play around a little bit. You can either touch down, lift up, or you can bob that knee up and down like a fishing bobber. Circle it. Straighten your leg and bend it a little bit. Yeah, play around. You know, we don't really think about balance until we lose it, right? So almost losing your balance is a way to practice balance for sure. And then maybe you can take it out to the side. Not today. And then step wide and let's find warrior two with the left foot in the front. So right heel swivels back, left knee bends in the direction. So you go the left, I'm doing mirror image. So yeah, so there we go. Perfect. And then the arms can be parallel to the earth, parallel to the mat, your head looking out over your left middle finger, or if your arms are tired, you can grab your waist or your heart, right? There it is. Find your breath, activate that inner thigh, inner leg line that you felt before in a couple of poses, and kind of zip up there to give your foundation some strength and balance. We're gonna play that little windmill tilting game here, keeping the front left knee bent. So we'll tilt back. We'll come through center, and then we'll tilt forward, maybe no touching. We'll come up through center. We'll tilt back. Coming through center, make sure to pause if you lose your balance. Gain your balance and move. Come through center. This time we're going to tilt back and pause, tilting back and straighten the front left knee. Get ready for your triangle. So pause here and reach forward like someone's handing you something, a gold nugget. And then stack your shoulders. Remembering that top hand is welcome. Welcome. Come to your hip. If you dropped your ear towards the floor, lift it off your shoulder, move the crown of your head out the front wall or the front window, and pull your tailbone away from your head. So again, just like we did in all those poses today, really finding length in the spine. One more breath. Ready to float up? Here it is. Toes towards the front. Step your feet together and very gently have a seat on your mat. If you'd like to have a blanket under your bump, you're welcome to. You don't have to. Sometimes it's nice to have that softness in it. A lot of times when floors are hard, you might notice that when you go to a function and they just have a hard aluminum chair with no padding, not really comfortable, is it? Your body kind of gets rigid when that happens. It's the same thing in yoga. So if you sit down on a hard mat, your body steels itself for what's coming next. Whereas if you add just a little bit of comfort under the sensitive parts, like the base of our spine and our head and things like that, you're going to get a different effect. So from here, lean back a little bit. Let's cross the right ankle over the left into this number 4 cross. For some people, you might have to have that leg a lot, the left leg a lot further out. For other people, you might be wanting to come in a little closer, just so you feel something, I don't know, just something a little, what I would call juicier in the right hip, but you get to play with that. Yeah. And then we're all going to slowly straighten the left leg and bring this right knee closer to the inside of your left leg. So this is Ardha Gomukhasana, which is half of house face. If you have in your practice full Gomukhasana, instead of straightening the bottom leg, you can bend both. Okay, I'll demonstrate with the straight lower leg because I think most people in this room want to do that. Okay, perfect. So we're going to walk ourselves forward here. See if you can point your left toes to the ceiling. Forward folding over that bent right knee over your inner thigh. Yeah. And then walk your hands back up. And one third variation to get into the right hip is Janu Sirsasana. So we'll take the sole of the right foot, bring it to the inner leg, inner left leg. If you need a block under this right outer thigh, go for it. This is also another forward fold, but then we'll add a twist after that. So we're going to walk our hands out the axis of our left leg. See what happens in your right hip now. Huh? You can lower your chin towards your chest. You can reach your right hand to the outside of your left leg in a little bit of a crisscross or towards the outside of your ankle or foot. And you turn your whole upper body towards the left. Spiral twist here where you drop your right shoulder, lift your left shoulder, take the top of your head and move it towards your left. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Let's shake out those legs and we'll do those three shapes on the other side. Okay. So now we're going to get into the left hip. I'm going to lean back a little bit, bend my right knee a bit, and cross my left ankle over my right knee. So this is seated pigeon. We do it on our backs with this cross. We call it reclined pigeon. You all, I think in this room at least, we all know what other pigeon is when we're in a prone tummy down position. So again, press your heart forward, press your chest forward towards, to the extent that that feels good on your left hip, left IT band. We're just here for a few breaths and a smile. Don't lose your focus, right? This is when you start thinking about going to Target afterwards, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to breathe in and out. We're going to really let that left hip talk to us. And then we're going to transition by straightening the right leg and pointing the right toes to the ceiling, bringing that left knee inward a bit so that it's stacked more towards the inside of your leg. If you want to do the full version, you fold your right leg under. Yeah, that's pretty stressful on the right knee, so just so you know. And then let's just hinge forward. First with a lifted chin. Just walk it forward towards the toes with our fingers. If that's more, then you can just grab your top knee and hinge forward. I love this. Something about binding our hands to our body that gives immediate feedback to our nervous system that it's okay. You can tuck your chin towards your chest. This way, giving ourselves hugs is so important, right? Giving our nervous system, that's why touch is so important. Human touch, you know, it's the grounding with yourself or with another person. So now let's lift up and do the final shape, Janu Sirsasana. So we'll take that left leg, uncross it, but bring the sole of your left foot somewhat along the inner leg line of your right leg. Once again, if you need a block because your left knee is pointing up to your ceiling, just tuck it in there, okay? And let's walk forward a little bit. So this is just coming forward over the extended right leg again, hands on the leg or reaching out towards the ankle. And then that last notification I gave you on the side is to now take your left hand, wrap it around to the outside of your right leg. Yeah. Or reaching towards your ankle or even your foot. And then we've got this ability to drop the left shoulder, lift the right shoulder, turn your head to the right. Feel your rib cage rotating underneath you. Take a few breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Untwist and come back up again. We're going to go on to our backs. So you can bring your feet out in front of you. And roll onto your backs, please. Hug your knees to your chest. But alternately, hug one knee in and the other, just bobbing your knees. And then before we go into Shavasana, let's just do one beautiful bridge pose if you have the energy for it. So keeping the knees bent, place the heels in line with your hips on the mat. Okay, it's just going to be one bridge. And so we're going to go up and hold it for a few breaths and come back down. Hands by your hips alongside the mat. Draw the belly button down, firm it into the floor. Curl the tailbone up while your feet are still grounded and your hips are still grounded. Then push into your heels to lift your hips a little or a lot. When you get to the point where the elevator stops going up, just pause for a moment. Squeeze your buttocks underneath your pelvis and push up. Push your kneecaps in the direction your toes are pointing. Keep breathing, inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze those glutes again, push up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. As we exhale, one vertebrae at a time, we'll just come down onto the mat. We'll float the feet, we'll hug the knees, and we'll do one more happy baby. It's my favorite wiping, erasing the board position. Get a nice stretch. If there's any portion of happy baby that feels really good to you, your heels close to the floor, using your lower arms to press down on your thighs, or if you like kicking your heels up and rocking from the right. Gently come to center and take one more breath. And then take your hands away from your legs and bring your feet down to the mat with your knees bent. Walk your ankles together, your knees together, your inner thighs. Feet are on the mat. Arms out to the sides, a W or a T. Let both knees go to the right, stacking your left ankle on top of your right. And look to the left. Breathing into your left side rib cage, your left lung especially. Addressing any tightness or stiffness. So hopefully your ankles and knees are still stacked, and all you need to do is as if you just have one knee, bring them back to the center. They're still touching, looking up to the ceiling, and then let both knees fall to the left and your head turn to the right. And we'll just especially breathe into the right side rib cage, the right arm. Finding a little space there, softening, feel tension, tightening. One more breath. Then the invitation is to come to center and find your Shavasana for a couple minutes. So straightening your legs and letting your ankles go to the far corners of your mat or your blanket. Stretching your arms out along the long sides of the mat, palms upward. Then just taking some deep breaths. Really inhale slowly, fill the lungs. Exhale slowly, empty. Repeat, rinse and repeat. All right, just keep going for another minute like that. Find your mind being drawn away from where you are right now. Bring it back to the breath awareness. Even repeating to yourself, I'm inhaling and I'm exhaling. Stay present. Take about 10 more breaths, just like that. Then you can slide the heel a little higher up on your mat. If you want, hug your knees to your chest. Otherwise, just reach your right arm out towards the right side of your space and roll onto the right shoulder, right hip, right side body for a couple breaths. Slow and easy. Push into the floor to lift up and find a comfortable seat with your legs right where you want them. root down, rise up. So tailbone pressing down, crown of the head reaching up. Had that cue so many times in different shapes today. Just getting taller and taller. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Exhale out through your nose. Do that one more time. Exhale through your nose. This last time, inhale and hold your breath. And then open your mouth and exhale. And one last time, inhale and hold your breath and exhale. Shanti, namaste. Thanks for practicing with us today. See you next week. Have a great day. I don't know who ordered this weather, but thank you. All right, everybody's taking credit here. There you go. So last night I was at the Glencoe